Hello, and welcome to our lesson on Plan Risk Responses. In this segment, we'll be discussing strategies for threats. Addressing negative risks or threats in projects involves a systematic approach aimed at minimizing their impact or likelihood of occurrence. This process is crucial for ensuring the successful delivery of project objectives within the defined constraints of time, budget, and quality. There are 5 main strategies for effectively managing negative risks in projects: avoid, mitigate, transfer, accept, and escalate. Avoidance entails altering project plans or procedures to completely eliminate the risk. This could involve redesigning processes, changing project scope, or utilizing alternative resources or technologies. By thoroughly understanding the root causes and triggers of risks, teams can make informed decisions on how to avoid them. For instance, if a project involves a high level of technical complexity that poses a significant risk of delays, the team might choose to simplify the design or utilize proven technologies to reduce this risk. Examples of avoidance could be: Example 1. In a software development project, the team identifies a high risk of scope creep due to frequent changes in requirements. To avoid this risk, they decide to adopt an agile development approach with shorter iteration cycles, allowing for more flexibility in accommodating changes without impacting the overall project timeline. Example 2. A construction project faces a significant risk of delays due to inclement weather conditions during the planned construction period. To avoid this risk, the project manager decides to schedule critical construction activities during the dry season, minimizing the likelihood of weather-related disruptions. Example 3. A marketing campaign project identifies a risk of negative public perception due to controversial messaging. To avoid this risk, the team conducts thorough market research and focus group testing to ensure that the messaging resonates positively with the target audience before launching the campaign. Mitigation involves taking proactive measures to reduce the probability or impact of identified risks. It aims to minimize the likelihood of risks occurring or to lessen their potential consequences. Mitigation strategies may include implementing quality control processes, conducting thorough testing, or allocating additional resources to critical tasks. For example, if there's a risk of resource constraints causing delays, the team might hire temporary staff or cross-train existing team members to mitigate this risk. Examples of mitigation could be: Example 1. A manufacturing project identifies a risk of equipment breakdowns leading to production delays. To mitigate this risk, the team implements a preventive maintenance schedule, conducts regular inspections, and keeps spare parts readily available to minimize downtime in case of equipment failures. Example 2. A software development project faces a risk of cybersecurity breaches compromising sensitive customer data. To mitigate this risk, the team implements robust encryption protocols, conducts regular security audits, and provides ongoing cybersecurity training to staff to enhance awareness and vigilance against potential threats. Example 3. A construction project identifies a risk of supply chain disruptions impacting the availability of critical materials. To mitigate this risk, the project team diversifies its supplier base, maintains buffer stocks of essential materials, and establishes alternative sourcing options to ensure continuity of supply. Risk transfer involves shifting the responsibility for managing the risk to another party. This can be achieved through contractual agreements, such as insurance policies or outsourcing certain project components. By transferring the risk to a third party, the project team can mitigate its impact on the project's objectives and resources. For instance, if there's a risk of supply chain disruptions affecting project timelines, the team might choose to outsource the production of critical components to a vendor with a more robust supply chain. Examples of transfer could be: Example 1. A construction project faces a risk of cost overruns due to fluctuations in material prices. To transfer this risk, the project owner enters into fixed-price contracts with suppliers, shifting the responsibility for cost variations to the suppliers. Example 2. A software development project identifies a risk of project delays due to the unavailability of key personnel with specialized skills. To transfer this risk, The project manager contracts a third-party consultancy firm specializing in the required skills, ensuring continuity of expertise even if internal team members become unavailable. Example 3. A marketing campaign project faces a risk of litigation due to potential copyright infringement in the creative assets. To transfer this risk, the project team purchases intellectual property insurance coverage, shifting the financial liability for legal expenses and damages to the insurance provider. Acceptance acknowledges that certain risks may be unavoidable or too costly to mitigate effectively. In such cases, the team chooses to accept the risk and develops contingency plans to minimize its impact if it materializes. Acceptance doesn't mean ignoring the risk. Rather, it involves a conscious decision to allocate resources towards managing the consequences rather than attempting to prevent the risk altogether. For example, if there's a risk of regulatory changes impacting project requirements, the team might accept this risk and allocate budget and time reserves to accommodate potential changes. Examples of acceptance could be: Example 1. In a financial investment project, the team accepts the risk of market downturns despite hedging efforts. They allocate a reserve fund and develop a dynamic investment strategy to mitigate potential losses. Example 2. A construction project accepts the risk of delays due to limited labor availability. They develop contingency plans, adjust schedules, and optimize resource utilization to manage potential disruptions. Example 3. In a pharmaceutical manufacturing project, the team accepts the risk of non-compliance with stricter regulations. They implement a risk management plan, conduct audits, and allocate resources for legal support to mitigate financial impacts. Escalation occurs when a risk cannot be adequately addressed at the project team level and needs to be escalated to higher management or relevant stakeholders for resolution. Some risks may be beyond the authority or expertise of the project team to address effectively. In such cases, team members should escalate the risk to senior management or relevant stakeholders for guidance or intervention. Escalation ensures that risks are addressed at the appropriate level of authority and resources are allocated accordingly to manage them effectively. For instance, if a risk involves legal implications or strategic decisions, it may require escalation to the executive level for resolution. Examples of escalation could be: Example 1. In a software development project, technical challenges beyond the team's expertise prompt escalation to senior technical experts for guidance and support. Example 2. A construction project facing budget overruns escalates the issue to executive management for strategic decisions on budget reallocation or additional funding. Example 3. A marketing campaign project encountering stakeholder conflicts escalates the issue to senior management for intervention and resolution through stakeholder alignment sessions or arbitration. This is the end of this segment of our lesson. In the next segment, we will discuss strategies for opportunities. This course is presented to you by South Europe College. Thank you for listening, and see you on our next segment.